Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is, of course, February 7th, 2014. Breaking news, a potential terrorist attack. A plane was allegedly hijacked by a Ukrainian man who wanted the plane flown to the Sochi opening ceremony, which was taking place at the time of the hijacking. It says here from CNN, a Pegasus Airlines plane landed at an Istanbul airport Friday after a passenger said that there was a bomb on board and wanted the plane to land in Sochi, Russia, the site of the Winter Olympics, said officials with Turkey's transportation ministry. While the plane was in the air, one of the passengers said that there was a bomb on board and asked the plane to not land. It instead landed in Turkey. It appears that the pilots did not take the threat seriously, and instead of flying it, according to the alleged terrorist wishes to Sochi, lands in Turkey. Here's another report from Yahoo, says that Turkey F-16 forces down hijacked airliner told to fly to Sochi. So what are my first instincts on this? This is just the off-the-cuff, immediate instincts. And of course, we've talked about this in quite a bit of detail. In fact, I put out a mini documentary on the alleged killing of Doku Umarov, who was killed one day after the release of our mini doc, a terrorist that was supposedly struck down by Russian elite forces, according to Vladimir Putin. Now we have a convenient airliner hijacked in a September 11th type fashion, but just happens to be foiled by the international community, by the FBI. Now, of course, many of these attacks, false flag attacks, have been staged before, and this has all come to light. With official documentation, whether or not it was Operation Northwoods, which was a series of false flag proposals that originated with the Department of Defense, the DoD, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the United States government, which called for the CIA and other operatives to commit perceived acts of terrorism in U.S. cities and elsewhere. It says that here was ultimately rejected by the Kennedy administration. And according to this, it was a pretext for military intervention by the Chief of Operations of the Cuba Project, Brigadier General Edward Lansdale. And the document listed methods and outlined plans that the authors believe would garner public and international support for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. This included, Operation Northwoods included a potential attempt to bomb parts of Washington, D.C., the White House, and to blow up airplanes, which we later saw during September 11th. Also, of course, the famed Gulf of Tonkin incident, which has now been proven to be a false flag terrorist attack, or false flag, staged event in order for the United States to perpetrate a war in Vietnam and to garner public support and public opinion. Now we have a plane which just happens to be intercepted, the threat not taken seriously that there's a bomb on board, and the FBI and the international community, Vladimir Putin as well, having stopped a potential bombing or a potential terrorist act at the Sochi Olympic Winter Games. Now, I think that this was a staged event as well. I think that this is a perfect, very convenient, and well-orchestrated setup. And I think it is very similar to what we saw with the underwear bomber. You remember this guy here, who has now been proven was set up by the FBI, hatched by our intelligence agencies here in the United States in order so that they could foil it and play the hero. There's countless examples of this. You can read this article here. They're listing countless examples. Another specific example, Mahmoud thought of using a car bomb to attack a festive Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Portland. The FBI provided a van loaded with 6 55-gallon drums of inert material, harmless blasting caps, a detonator cord, and a gallon of diesel fuel. Then they go on to arrest him. They play the hero, etc., etc. This is what it smells like to me. This is another staged, manufactured event to garner public support, to play the hero, to pretend that you're safer when you're actually not, when, of course, the biggest perpetrator of these events themselves and these acts of terror is the U.S. government. Of course, we saw some pretty startling remarks over the Super Bowl from a gentleman who interrupted a post-game news conference and said, investigate 9/11. Of course, that was trending on Twitter and trending on social media networks across the internet for days. This is very suspicious to me. I do not think that this is a legitimate attempt at terror or a legitimate attempt at Sochi. You know, again, we talked about this in detail. I did a mini documentary on this way ahead of the Olympics called Olympic Games, False Flag. What you need to know about Sochi 2014. Here it is. You can watch this. It details everything you need to know about the government staging these types of events in order to play the hero or to move the masses to some kind of objective, to garner public opinion or public support so that they can push their agenda and push the whatever it is that they intend to push with this global integration, which is so clearly aimed at destroying our liberty, destroying our freedom, setting up a massive surveillance state and a grid system based on new technology, which is the algorithm today and is the NSA surveillance state as it exists in 2014. Now, of course, this has all been brought to light by people like Edward Snowden, but although the people do seem to care about this, and most Americans actually do seem outraged by the idea that their cell phones are being wiretapped and their text messages stored for future crimes so that they can manufacture and create a situation where they can basically incriminate you and just wipe off the Fourth Amendment completely off the map, illegal search and seizure, the NSA is still doing this. They're basically giving you the middle finger, America, saying, you know what? We'll continue to stage these types of events. We will continue to wiretap your cell phones and your personal data, your internet traffic, as well as everything else that you do. We won't listen to you. So again, highly, highly suspicious. This is, in my opinion, just shooting off the hip and just gut instincts, having predicted this sort of thing several weeks ago, and being very well in tune with this propaganda machine that is the mainstream media and that is our federal government. Again, this does not smell right to me, and this is an attempt to play the hero and to push public opinion and the opinion of the masses a certain direction, and again, move that herd of cows, towards an ever-increasing and eventually violent police state here in America and abroad. I'm Christopher Green. Get this out everywhere. Again, breaking news, and of course we'll all be watching, I guess, the rerun of these performers in this, what appears to be, I can already take a look at it from this photo. I haven't seen this yet, a very dark, and occult-looking performance. We'll have more in and way more in on that when that's reviewed. Get it out everywhere, hard-hitting in your face. I'm Christopher Green, AMTV Alternative Media Television.